Hi everyone, this video was inspired by a comment left on my video, Vaccines, Immortal Cell Lines and Cancer, by YouTube user Biafran Snake, who said that he had a dream in which a man told him that if humans ever learned to live on anything but oxygen and certain types of foods, they could live forever. And he said, practice, plant, planet, place. And so Biafran Snake wanted my opinion. And well, I'm no expert on dream interpretation, but it did make me think of something. You know, we all kind of take it as a given that as time passes you get older and then you start to deteriorate and then you get sick and you die. And there's a life expectancy which is 70 to 80 years. Well, some people make it past 100, but they're very few. They're like 1 in 6,000, although about 15% of us have the genetic potential to do so, but most people don't live, you know, to be 100, and certainly not very far beyond that. And if you ever hang around with old people, you'll notice that they talk a lot about, you know, infirmity and illness and who's got what sickness and who's dying and who died and stuff like that. You know, they're pretty preoccupied with, you know, death and disease. But then there are other people who are really defying what we would normally consider reality. Here, I'll give you an example. Okay, see this good-looking lady? She was PETA Prime's 2009 Sexiest Vegetarian Over 50. She is Mimi Kirk, and in this picture she's about 70 years old. And this is Bernardo LaPallo, who is, at the time of this video, 109 years old. Yeah, they look pretty good for their age, but what they have in common, and what a lot of people who are as healthy and youthful as they are, what they have in common is they're raw foodists. Now, Mimi Kirk is a raw vegan. She has been for, I think, 13 years old. Maybe now it's like 15. And Mr. LaPallo is not 100% vegan. I know he eats honey, and I think sometimes fish or something like that. But they basically follow certain types of diet and avoid environmental toxins. And they have a certain type of lifestyle. So we think, you know, yeah, if you eat well and, you know, you don't smoke, you don't live in the city, you exercise, whatever, there's certain things you do, and then you might make it to like 70 or 80. These people are totally pushing the boundaries of that. I mean, he's 109 years old. And it's not just genetics. The people who are like this, what they have in common is their diet and their lifestyle. So, okay, they look great and they're full of vitality and they're raw foodists. So I guess diet has a lot to do with it, but you do have to eat, right? I mean, everybody knows that that's reality. You can't live without food, right? Well, here's something really weird. Ever heard of a breatharian? This is Wiley Brooks. He's an old dude, and he's been a breatharian for 30 years. This guy, Wiley Brooks, he's not the only one. You can even see a video on Google about breatharians living on air. I mean, when I first heard of this, I was like, whoa, how is that possible? There's also a woman called Jazz Moheen. She's like a kind of guru. And you'd think, well, maybe they're faking it. I mean, how do we know that they're really not eating anything? But see, there's this old dude, Prahlad Johnny Mataji, from India, and he's been a breatharian for 70 years. And the Indian military even analyzed him. They did an observational study on this guy for 2 weeks, and they found that indeed he consumes no food or water. And he has the biological age of like a 20-year-old. Now, Wiley Brooks also says that, you know, he's Jesus. And he's also a bunch of other reincarnations like Zeus and John the Baptist. So I don't know about all that stuff, but for sure there are breatharians out there, and I think that's pretty freaky. But the point of this video is, it's not about, you know, the aging or the food thing or that. It's about pushing the bounds of what we consider reality. Because we all say, well, we all know what reality is. And that's how we all were when we were asleep, right? Everybody knows vaccines are good for you. 9/11 was done by, you know, a bunch of Arabs. And the government loves you and whatever. You have to do your taxes and all these things, right? And as we wake up, we start to realize that, you know, everything's been a lie. But it goes even further beyond that. There's the whole other side, you know. There's all this metaphysical stuff that we don't understand. And if somebody said to you, you know, that somebody lives without food for 7 years, you say, it's impossible, right? But yet it is possible because there's somebody doing it. And I think it's like that with a lot of things, that what we consider reality, it's kind of limited to what we know to be true by by our physical experience, which often deceives us. And it's what we know to be true by common knowledge or our education, which also deceives us. So we don't really know what reality is, do we? You know, the bounds of it are always being pushed and being pushed as we wake up more and more and more. And we find out that there's all this other stuff going on that we had no idea of, and then we just have to kind of really, reassess, well, who am I really, and what is this all about? So I guess what it comes down to is that, we all know that everything is a lie, but we don't know how deep that lie goes. But for sure, what we think of as reality, we really have to question our own reality on an ongoing basis. Otherwise, we stop growing. And so I thought I would share this with you. And well, thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.